Hey guys, welcome back to the new shop space, and we're going to continue on our maintenance for the break-in procedure on our new Precision Matthews lathe. So in the previous video, we ran through all the gear, showed you what it sounded like, and everything was great. So we went ahead and did the break-in procedure off of camera, ran through every one of the gears for 10 minutes apiece, and then did a final run at 620 for about 15 minutes. Took about 2 hours to do that, but everything sounded good. So according to the manual, they want you to go through the break-in cycle, and then after that, go ahead and drain the oil out, and then put new oil in both the headstock and the feed box there as well. So I've got a new pail of oil for the headstock. I've also got a new pail of whey oil to keep here in the shop for all the machines. So we'll throw those up here on the toolbox so you can see what we're going to use, and then we'll get to our oil change, okay? These are the two pails of oil that I picked up for the machine here. Now, this is the blue pail is the whey oil. This will be used for all the machines. This right here, this is the multi-purpose machine oil, ISO 68, and this is the McMaster Carr brand of machine oil that you can get right off their website there. And I called my local oil distributor I usually buy my oil from whenever I can get it here, which is RK Allen Oil Company. And I called them up, told them what I needed, and they did not have any of the oil that I needed for the lathe in stock. They have another warehouse up in Talladega, Alabama, and they checked there. They didn't have any of it there either. So I think there's my suspicion is there's kind of an oil shortage going around since they didn't have any. And when I went on McMaster Carr, they actually offer the mobile DTE line of oils, same thing. And they didn't have any in stock there as well. But their super brand oil right here, their house brand of oil, they have them all in stock, or they had this in stock anyway. So I went ahead and ordered this from McMaster. And then RK Allen had this one pail of number 2 whey oil, 68 weight class. They had that in stock, so I went ahead and picked that up from them locally. So this is going to be the same thing as if you get mobile DTE medium, or I believe it was DTE medium. So it is the proper SUS Sable weight viscosity there, number 68. It's an R&O oil, just like your DTE oils. Rust and oxidation inhibitors is what the R&O is. So I feel confident this is going to be a good oil, and this is actually going to get me through 2 oil changes on the lathe. So this right here, that's what we're going to run with. The oil change should be a pretty straightforward operation here. This is the cover we got to take off. I think this is the first time I've shown you guys this. So take this one nut off right here that holds this cover on. Lean it back and then pick up on it, I think. Yep, there we go. So this is a fiberglass cover that they make for the end of the lathe here. All right, and there you can see our end gears, the quadrant gears. I'm going to set this down out of the way. So on your quadrant gears here, you can see that the number 56 tooth and the 44, 56 and 44 are made out of some kind of plastic material. I don't know exactly what the grade of plastic is, and I'm not sure exactly why they make it out of the plastic, but there's a couple of reasons that I'm going to assume is that this is more of a fail-safe here in case you crash the lathe. It's going to tear this gear up, which is easily replaceable from Precision Matthews. I know this is one that they'll stock there. So if you strip the tooth here, you're not going to damage the steel tooth there on one of these other gears, and you can just simply replace it with another plastic gear. The other reason is it may be a little quieter running on this plastic nylon type of gear there as well. So the only time you have to reconfigure this is whenever you're going to go to a diametrical pitch, which is not very often, especially for my case. So it's probably going to stay set up like this for the life of the machine, unless I have a diametrical pitch need for something. But anyway, so this is going to be your drain port for the headstock right here, this plug. And then on this elbow on the bottom side, we've got another plug, and this is going to be for the feed box right there. So I got a couple of funnels and I got a couple of containers. We're going to get them all stacked up right here so that we can easily take this plug out and let it just drain straight down into the funnel and down into the container. So these are the containers that the Aussie Juice comes in, and these are some of the best containers that I have found for using for used oil or any kind of used chemical, even like fuels. So anytime I get Aussie juice, I always save these containers and I use them just for that. They're also stackable, which makes them nice. It's just a real heavy duty plastic container. So I got 2 of them here. It's going to work out good. And these are going to be used here for the shop for waste oil. And I got a couple of funnels here as well. We got that guy. And then I think this funnel here, which I've already cleaned out real well in the smart washer, I think I can set this guy right there, just like that, and get this kind of in position. And it should be able to drain right into that funnel. I think we're ready to start draining this. I went ahead and grabbed some of the pig mat from under the pacemaker I had already used. Got them stacked here in case we get some drippage down here. Also a couple down on the floor in case we do some dripping down there as well. Coming out way too fast, and I didn't expect that, so I've already made a huge mess down here on the floor. All right, let me get this oil cleaned up. It just got everywhere. I've still got my pig mat down there to kind of catch all the oil that's dripping down. Easy way to make a huge mess. I kind of wish that they would just design this with a valve on here that you can open up, but I know they're not going to do that for safety reasons. See, it's getting all down in here. Man, so much for trying to keep it clean. It's all down here now. I'm just going to keep those pig mats right there. Obviously, I don't have this figured out on the first try. I need to put a nipple or something on there to get it out of the way, because it's, I mean, now it's all up in here and those wires are laying right in there for these switches. And that oil is up in here. Well, I will say this, if you don't do this prepared with the right tools, you're going to make a huge mess, which is what I'm doing. You see, whenever you're trying to drain it out like that, we're still draining very slowly, but it's coming down. It's getting underneath here and it's running down. It's getting on everything. I'm going to go and see if I can find a nipple and an elbow, kind of like they did down here, and see if I can get the drain plug out away from the side of the machine to where maybe it's at a position like that, so that you can come up here with a big funnel. Next time I'll have a bigger funnel than that. And come up here with a big funnel that you know you can catch it with, but you just got to get it away from the side of the machine. Okay, I might have found something that works right here. I was test fitting the cover to see if it fit on there. Try not to laugh at me too hard. The cover does fit. But I did find a couple fittings at the shop that I thought might work. Now, this elbow is extremely too big for it. This is more of like a high pressure fitting for like hydraulics, but it's the only one I had that was the right pipe size. So I've actually got, I don't have any of this tight there. I've got this plug right here. And then we had this brass nipple right there, which made it nice, so I can screw that in with a wrench. And I think this will work right there. So I've got some of my thread sealant. Let me see, let me show you what I got right here. This is the Loctite 567 thread sealant. I'm going to use some of that on all of the fittings there, and I'm going to put it in that configuration right there. I had it about like that so that the cover will just go around that and clear it. And that way, next time we go to do our oil changes, I can take the big funnel and just put it right up behind that, and bam, right into the bucket it'll go. So this should work a lot better. I'm going to go ahead and get this on there and get it tight, and then we got to move on to draining this guy right there. All right, we got the first problem figured out and fixed, so I'm going to try to do this on this bottom one here. The height of everything is just quite off a little bit, but I'm going to see if that'll work there. If I can get the plug loose enough where I can twist it with my finger. Like that. Let's see if I can get the funnel underneath there and be able to get the, I might just have to hold this for now. Almost had a mess there on my hands. I think we got all the oil drained out of the gearbox here, so I put some thread sealant on the cap, and we're going to go ahead and seal it back up. I'm ready to start putting the oil into the machine. So because I got these big pails right here, I'm going to transfer it over to this jug right here. This is actually a clean jug. I'll only use it for clean oil in there. This is actually the oil that we used in the shaper. This is the you know, the proper weight that I use for the shaper based off the Saybolt SUS. But we're going with ISO 68 for the lathe here, and I'm going to go outside and transfer the oil into this jug right here so I don't make a mess on the floor. I'm going to go out there in the grass. I also wanted to point out on your used oil containers, make sure that you mark it with a paint marker, because you will forget what is in this. As soon as you get through with this and you put it away, you're going to forget what was in that. So always just mark it as used oil or used whatever, okay? So we're going to go ahead and start filling the gearbox. Got this guy right here, this funnel in there. And it doesn't say exactly how much oil it holds, but I want to say it was less than a gallon that holds. It might have been like 2 to 3 quarts. I can't remember. It's listed on the website. So I've got my gallon jug filled up with the ISO 68. And I'm making a mess right off the bat. This is not going my way today, I tell you that. That's for fact. So it's going to have to go in there extremely slow. I guess there's nowhere for the thing to breathe. Let me see what kind of slow rate I can do on this pour here. I mean, just, that's barely any oil in there. Look at that. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. There's no other way to vent the gearbox. There's no other cap that I'm aware of. So it's just a little at a time, just like this right here. I can see it fills up the elbow there, and then it goes down inside. See? I'm going to try a new tactic here. So I had brought this goldenrod oil down here with the intentions of using it for whey oil. It was still brand new. I went ahead and just put the oil in this, and I'm going to use this to pump it, just pump it in there. That way I can control it like this here, because it seems like when you pour it with a funnel, it just can't get down in there fast enough without trying to suck air and then causing a bubble here and then boiling out of there. This is already working better here. It's going to take a little bit longer, and my fingers are going to get tired of pumping this thing, but it's working. Much more controlled rate of oil in there. All right, so there's our sight glass for our gearbox, and you can tell that we're at least 3/4 full. That's what it says to fill it at, is about 3/4, so we're there. It didn't quite take 2 of these full of oil, and we were there. So we're gonna button it back up and call that one done. All right, so this is the cap for the headstock where you can fill it up right here. All right, that's going in just fine. So the headstock uses about 2 gallons and 2 quarts, so about 2.5 gallons. I'm gonna put 2 gallons in there, and then I'll check the sight glass that's over there on the side by the chuck. Gallon number 2. All right, going with the next 2 quarts there. This is the sight glass I'm talking about. So, you know, once it's about 3/4 full on this, it should be about right. So it shouldn't hold all this, but that's what I put in there. You got to kind of like wait for it to settle down into the bottom of the gearbox as well. So let me let that settle down in there and see where it comes up on the sight glass. It looks like we're about where we need to be already. Yep. All right, according to the sight glass, that's good right there. So I ended up taking the switch panel off right here because throughout this oil change, the oil just continued to bleed down behind this panel there. So it was pulled up in this area right here. So that's where it was coming from. I knew it was behind this panel, and it just kept dripping down there no matter how much I wiped it out. So I got some degreaser sprayed on a rag, and I think I got it all cleaned up now. I just need to get it a little bit cleaner off the back of this aluminum panel right here. So that's thought I would show you that. Just trying to get that cleaned up before I button everything up. Let's spin it up a little with the new oil in it. And I'm going to go ahead and put some oil on the end here. This is what oils the lead screw and the feed rod. Just go ahead and engage them so that they're spinning there. I went ahead and put whey oil in this container here, this oil can. So I think that's it. It just filled it, in the book it just says put as much oil as you can in there. So I'll continue to check that. It'll probably work its way down into the bearing as well. I've been running through all of the gearbox changes here. I got them all working like they should now. I remember I was telling you in the first video that this one was a little bit stiff. I've got it to where it feels like it should now, I believe. So V, W, X, Y, and Z. I believe I forgot to mention this guy right here in the first video whenever we were running through the gears. This is actually a jog button right here. It's just a momentary switch that engages the machine. And this is great whenever you're trying to, maybe you're over here looking at the chart and you're gonna go over here and set up. Let's set up for a 4.0. That's what I was looking at earlier. So 4.0, this is gonna be in Z. You know, if you have a hard time getting the gears to mesh, like right there, bump it and you can get it over. So just a really nice feature to have on a machine. And I think I forgot to mention that before. The next project in line for the Precision Matthews lathe is to go ahead and get this compound finished up. So I'm going to machine a new T-nut that's going to fit in here. It's going to be machined even on the top. And I have got a multi-fix type of tool post that I plan on putting on here. I got that at the other shop. I've been working on that for probably the past couple months, getting it cleaned up, getting some parts for it. It is a tool post and holders that was given to me some time back, but they needed a lot of cleanup. And I've been working on that. I plan on showing that in a future video pretty soon. But once we get our tool post mounted on here, then we're going to be ready to get over here and start making some test cuts and doing some alignment checks on the machine. All right, guys, that's going to conclude today's video with the oil change on the new Precision Matthews lathe. The oil change itself was a little more, I guess, messy than I expected it to be. I wasn't really expecting to run into those problems with the oil running everywhere. So if you have a machine like this, maybe seeing me, what I went through, is going to help you out a little bit. Maybe consider doing the same thing, getting some fittings that you can add to the oil drain plug there to kind of bring it out a little bit and hopefully make it a little bit easier to drain the oil. That's what my hope is. The next time that I go to drain the oil, that what I did there, that extension that I added in the elbow, should make it a breeze to be able to pop the plug and have a funnel, a big funnel underneath there to drain the oil into a bucket, not the small funnel that I had. So just one of those things, you don't know it until you get into it, what you're gonna run into. But we managed to get it all done. And next thing up, like I said, we're gonna get the compound ready so we can get the tool post mounted on the machine. I'm ready to go over here and start making some cuts and checking the alignment of the machine and see how accurate it is, and especially seeing the rigidity there. I want to see what kind of cuts we can take with it. So that's going to be coming up next for the Precision Matthews lathe. Hopefully you enjoyed. We'll see you on the next video.